Now, from the House of Representatives, the choice of the All Progressives Congress for the speakership and deputy speakership seats emerged as members-elect. Then, in the Green Chambers, voted Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu as their leaders for the next 4 years. Tunji Olanikpekun has a compiled story for you.
359 members-elect started the day on a brighter note, exchanging pleasantries with one another as lawmakers that will chart the course of the 10th Assembly. Then the hour they have all been waiting for comes, election of the presiding officers of the 10th House of Representatives. The race was expected to be between two major contenders, former Deputy Speaker Idris Wasi and Abbas Tajuddin, after two major contenders, Mukhtar Betara and Yusuf Gagdi, stepped down 24 hours to the inauguration. But another candidate was nominated for the speakership seat, Aminu Jaji from Zamfara State, who became the third contender. Unlike the Senate, the House of Representatives election was open ballot.
I have the honor and the privilege to declare the result of the election for the seat of the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. Here is the result. I will now declare the result.
After voting, it became clear that it was simply a one-horse race with 356 lawmakers preferring Tajuddin Abbas out of the possible 359 members present. Idris Wasi and Aminu Jaji scored 3 votes each. Benjamin Kalu had no contender for the office of the Deputy Speaker of the Green Chambers. With the election having been won and lost, the new Speaker performed his first official duty, which is swearing in of all the members-elect. This signals the commencement of the 10th House of Representatives.
Very excited about the process, seeing democracy in action, and it goes to show that our country, democracy is maturing for the good of our people. Oh, robust representation. I will hit the ground running immediately. I will sponsor impactful, exciting motions and bills that will be beneficial to the people of our constituency.
The process was very transparent, and I think Tajuddin deserves it because he had really moved around to appeal to the hearts of every elected member. I must confess to you, he is a good man. The very first day I met him, I was amazed. I began to wonder whether we have good people of this nature. The process was transparent, and I don't think anybody will fault the system.
One of the first things you do and you receive is a standing order. And the standing order tells you exactly what will happen. During the induction session, we had a mock of this process. So it went to book, it went peacefully. I think the people spoke. So we are happy with where we are. Let's just commit the remaining of the 10th Assembly to God.
Lawmakers react to the process of election and what Nigerians should respect.
His winning is not a surprise to me because he knows how to unite Nigerians together. And the little interaction I had with him, there are some of the promises which he made that made me to be more closer to him. Because he said that he wants to be the voice of the indigent Nigerians, people who doesn't have the voice, that he will be their voice. He made mention of making sure that the salary of this civil servants, minimum wage, that he's going to help to make sure that they raise the minimum wage of the civil servant, that's to show that he has the good intention for the Nigerian citizens.
We have an executive that is concerned with the people. This is the first time the House will have this kind of rancor-free elections. This is the highest number of elections that a single person has had in the National Assembly since it started.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined in the studio by Obi Aguocha, who is a member of the House of Representatives representing Ikwano, Umuahia South, Umuahia North Federal Constituency in Abia State. Good to see you, and
Good
thanks for your time. Congratulations are in order. You got, yes,
thank you very much.
inaugurated. Are you going on a break?
No, we're starting work tomorrow. So the speaker joined the House till tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll know whether we'll go on a break or not. But most of us will prefer to stay, get the road, hit the ground running, to ensure that at least we'll restore back confidence on the institution of the National Assembly. And I think, we're on the right track.
And I also noticed the collaboration, especially from the opposition in the Green Chamber. How did it go?
Well, for the first time, like somebody said during the interlope, for the first time you have 8 political parties almost coming together, had a perfect mix of the 8 political parties saying we are having a resounding endorsement on 2 key presiding officers, Tajuddin Abbas. For a few weeks ago, it looked like, it was war. The National Assembly, we were never going to get our acts together. But you come today, of 360 members, only 6 went in the other direction. The 354 thereabout said, we trust this man. They said, we trusted this man, whether you're of APC, whether you're of PDP, Labour Party, NMPP, or otherwise minded. All those political parties came in unison to say, we are going to trust this man to lead the House of Representatives for the next 4 years. And then you get to the Deputy Speaker, for the first time, unanimous decision, never contested for. Somebody now, Benjamin Kalu, was returned unopposed.
The amazing thing there is how can this camaraderie be taken further into the good of Nigerians?
Well, it starts from the speaker. The guys that, I believe that the interviews were done at the National Assembly chamber.
Yes.
Now let me tell you about the man. The man is someone that I believe can move this discussion to a higher level where citizen participation can begin to engage with the National Assembly that will be, moving the dialogue between the National Assembly and the executive. It's no longer going to be hands in glove, fighting, political parties fighting over issues. I'm not saying that it's going to be all kumbaya moments. There's going to be fight. But Tajuddin is somebody that has an uncommon attitude towards people. He makes you feel welcome in his company. He doesn't have any air of arrogance. He doesn't have any presumptions. He's somebody that, in my view, has, he shows empathy and compassion to issues. He's simply open-minded. Somebody that, when you are with him, can draw the best of your thoughts in a very constructive manner. And somebody who fears God. Somebody actually who has the fear of God. I see people talk about, I fear God or this. So he's somebody that will now set the pace to say, this is the type of house that I want. He's going to bring intellectual capacity to this. And he's done it before. He's a professor. All his life has been a teacher. And he has the right temperament to be able to get all of us together to work towards this project called Nigeria, regardless of the political platform that you see yourself coming from.
And that's the most important thing, talking about the temperament, talking about the love for country. And speaking of which, what are the key things? Because now that you're hitting the ground running, perhaps specifically speaking from your own corner, you must be having something in mind that you think that specifically the people not only of Abia State, but of the Southeast and the entire Nigeria will need. So what kind of gift are we likely to see in the next few days from the Green Chamber?
Well, of course, I can't speak for Tajuddin.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying that for you.
For me, there are some very important areas in the short term that we can work together. At least let's even agree as political parties. One, the subsidy removal. A lot of Nigerians are still suffering, going through hardship of subsidy removal. I am for subsidy removal. He's had his wonderful 50-year run. The things that subsidy was supposed to achieve for the Nigerian people, he didn't do much. Rather, he created a perverse inducement for the rich. And a lot of people gamed the system. Now, nobody knows who's telling the truth.
Because I'm sure that was why your party, during the campaigns, also said it was
my presidential
candidate.
My presidential candidate talked about it. Called it even a den of cabal criminals who have gamed the system to the detriment of the poor. He spoke about removing subsidy. PDP talked about removing subsidy. APC is also talking about removing subsidy. So if you look at it realistically, there's a consensus, political consensus on the removal of subsidy. So now, the only difference from our party would have been more thoughtful, given the time frame, because it just didn't happen for subsidy to remove. Everybody has known, at least for the last 6 months, that subsidy will end by June 30th or 31st, I can't remember which of the days. There would have been adequate plans put in place, palliatives, to be able to cushion the severe hardship on people. So if we were in government, Labour Party was in government, I'm sure the way we would have handled it would have been entirely different. But not to say that the president, current president, he's done well in terms of taking the bull by the horn to say subsidy must be removed and ensuring that it is removed and it's gone for good. So that's one. So we need to look at it. There are a lot of theft that happened during the subsidy regimes. Now we are using 70 million liters of fuel on a daily basis. They must have thought we are idiots, because if you're using 70 million liters of fuel every day, you will probably have close to about 250 to 300 trucks on daily on the road. Now they went down to 50 million liters, only to find out it's probably about 18 million liters on a daily basis usage. So there's fundamental fraud in the system that must have to be investigated, and it is the role of the National Assembly to set up inquiries on how the subsidy regiment has been managed thus far. Even if we don't go all the way back, but go back from the time Jonathan initially thought about removing subsidy in 2012 till now, to see what level of deficiencies that exist in that. So subsidy will be a major priority for me. Two, the issue of procurement. So it will shock you that the reason why Nigeria is not moving forward is our procurement laws. You have close to about 60,000 abandoned properties all over the country because of our procurement laws. We need to look at it critically with a sense of accelerating economic growth, especially in infrastructure. Now, if you change our laws in procurement, you award a contract and you give a contractor 20% mobilization.
I'm smiling because I recall then the former minister, Babatunde Fashola, had spoken, a lot about this, procurement law and how it actually, pulls us back, especially in the speed to doing things, to fixing things. And perhaps that was why also then, Nyesom Wike said, look, I'm not going to go with this. I'll just speak with the contractor and ask, can you do it?
Can you do the, but think it's just common sense. You give somebody 20%, but the person gets to the site to do the work. He comes to you for variation. He will say to you the price of cement, the price of rod, the price of this, sand has gone up astronomically from what you and he or him agreed on and it's something else. By the time he even gets to work, you have done 3 or 4 variations that will be higher than the initial contract was. So that is also fraudulent. So now, what I want to see done by the National Assembly, I will be moving the motions of the bills, with corporations of our people, to say, let's even have 4 criteria of contracting. The contractor ability to understand the scope, the contractor ability to have done the work before, your cost, and your deliverables. When will you deliver this at a certain point? And then you mobilize the contract up to 70% of the contract value. If you get up to 70%, most, especially in Nigeria, 70% can actually do the work. Maybe slightly, 20% can actually be profit, and the other 10% becomes a variable where banks, the funds can also make their money. But we need to be able to, change it a bit where a contractor, if he's going to site, that contractor knows that he has almost everything that he or she will require to ensure that the project is done. So then security. A lot of people living in fear, living in bondage, as that movie used to say in Nigeria. Nobody is safe anymore. Now, there are even if you come to the Southeast, kidnappers. When they kidnap somebody, kidnapping doesn't have any value anymore. It's all about who is able to negotiate. Now, somebody can kidnap you for 100,000 and you negotiate it out for 20,000. People who are kidnapping are no longer kidnapping because it is, it is something they want to do. They're kidnapping because it is the only thing now that puts food on the table for them.
Is that bad?
It is that bad. So people don't have kidnapping value anymore. It's we catch you, you give us this, and we let you go. So those 3 areas are the things that we're going to do. And then fourthly, we need to now look at effectively how to restructure our debt. Nigeria, President Buhari left close to about 77 to 80 trillion naira in both local and foreign debt, whereby every 96% or 96 naira of every 100 naira goes to servicing the debt. So we need to be able to restructure our debt profile. And the only way we're going to do it is to be able to come together as a National Assembly to provide new legislative frameworks that would now work towards the same thing. And I won't object to saying that anybody who now wants to buy Nigerian crude must buy it in Naira.
I think it's a fine place for us to leave it. Obi Aguocha, many thanks for speaking
Thank
with us.
you
And we'll
much.
keep the conversations going. Once again, congratulations and
Thank
best
you very
wishes.
much. Thank you
Well,
very
that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again tomorrow.